Much.
When?
Yeah.
I feel so terrific yesterday, so I didn't write anything. But I think I'm terrific when I feel.
Okay, it's found in the batteries in cars.
It's only if you're going to stand over there, guys.
Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Yvonne Murray-Laria, and I am the founding president of the Global Center for Systemic Change, Outcomes, Research, Evaluation, and Development. And today I wanted to spend a few moments with you bringing attention and awareness to Global Mental Health Month, which is October. And so I want to begin my little talk with you with a statement that I've coined, and that is, my mental health is your business, and your mental health is my business. So let's dig in. We are definitely, without a doubt, in a global mental health pandemic. We should and must prioritize it as such. The challenges that we're facing globally is at pandemic proportions as it relates to mental health. Individuals across the globe at almost every stage in their lifespan development are experiencing the effects of COVID-19 and all its variants. And even prior to COVID-19 in 2020, the World Health Organization in 2013, thereabouts, had estimated that by 2020, the number one non-communicable global burden of disease would be depression. That, as we can see and we're experiencing, has been blown out of the water. It has multiplied exponentially due to the adverse effects and consequences of COVID-19. The adverse effects such as physical and social, emotional, psychological, educational, and economic consequences of COVID-19. In addition to these convergence of crises, we also saw and experienced and continue to experience the impact of these adverse environmental and social factors, which highlighted and continues to highlight disparities and gaps at every level of our communities and societies, locally, nationally, and globally. And it's not just at every level of our societies and communities, but it's in every sector, locally, nationally, and globally. And it begins at the lowest level, which is the primary level, which is at the individual level, the microsystemic level. And it goes all the way to the chronosystem level. And so no longer can we afford to create divisions among nations and use labels such as developed countries and developing countries when it comes to mental health. We can't do this any longer, people, because as the World Health Organization says, when it comes to mental health, all countries are developing. We're all in the same boat together, okay? And so GCSCORED, we are presenting GCSCORED and its programs and framework as a solution. And I said a solution because no one organization can solve this problem in isolation. It has to be done as a collaborative. It has to be done where all stakeholders are fully engaged if we want to see individual, institutional, community, and familial wellness and wholeness to be attained. And so GCSCORED is presenting itself as a vanguard, as being on the forefront of creating and increasing access to culturally responsive, destigmatized mental health interventions, workforce practitioners, and we call these wellness champions, and treatment. And we've been doing this since 2013. We have been engaged in educating, equipping, and empowering laypersons and mental health practitioners at all levels and across all sectors to effectively utilize the cultivating seed system. This cultivating seed system framework is our culturally responsive relationship capacity building framework that we have developed since 2013 to help increase the global mental health resources for all people. And we have a special emphasis and intentionality toward the historically underserved, marginalized, invisible, and voiceless populations. GCSCORED's purpose has been and continues to be relationship capacity building in individuals, within systems, across systems, at every level, and such as in homes, in schools, businesses, communities, organizations, institutions, because we truly believe, we fundamentally believe that as air is to life, so are social emotional skills to relationships. They are like the air we breathe. And inextricably linked to our purpose of relationship capacity building are several elements. And those are 1, our mission, 2, our goals, and 3, our why. And we want to ask you, our audience, why should you choose GCSCORED as your partner? And why should you choose GCSCORED's approach, the cultivating seed system framework and the Rumatime process as your problem-solving approach for your relationship capacity building endeavors? And the simple answer is wrapped up in our mission, our goals, programming, and service. And that is to help you, our viewing audience, our listening audience, to become conscious problem solvers and empowered life coaches. That's the why. That's why you need to choose GCSCORED as your partner and choose the cultivating seed system and the Rumatime process as your approach to your problem-solving relationship capacity building endeavors. And so our mission is simply renewing minds, transforming lives, and creating safer communities. That is our mission. And out of our mission comes our goals. And we have 2 goals. Goal number 1 is to increase access to the culturally responsive, destigmatized, and demystified problem-solving strategy, as we call it, the Rumatime process. The Rumatime process helps individuals move from a position of inter- and intrapersonal imbalance to inter- and intrapersonal balance, and from unconscious living to conscious living. And this process is used in diverse settings with varied age groups, varied educational abilities and qualifications across races and religious beliefs and practices, sexual orientation. It is inclusive of all. And our goal is to help you, like I said, become conscious problem solvers and empowered life coaches. As you are acquiring these healthy social emotional skills and what we call them healthy social emotional markers, we want you then to use the access that you have received to help educate, equip, and empower other individuals to effectively utilize these markers, which are the mindsets and the activities and the relationships and the knowledge, the emotional literacy skills, resources, and the strategies. We want you to be able to help educate. Join us as we help equip. Join us as we empower individuals to effectively utilize these social emotional competencies as they are building their relationship capacity. And so we believe that through the effective utilization of the culturally responsive, community-driven Rumatime process and cultivating seed system, individuals will become educated, equipped, they will become conscious problem solvers and empowered life coaches in their journey, in your journey towards social emotional wellness. And so GCSCORED works in diverse settings, in diverse communities and countries within countries. We work with diverse populations to educate, equip, and empower all groups to use our social emotional wellness approach. Like I said earlier, we particularly and intentionally designed and continue to develop programs and services to reach those who have been historically underserved, oppressed, marginalized, voiceless, stigmatized, and invisible. So our call to action, what would we want you to do? We want you to know that GCSCORED, we are on a mission. Let me repeat that. We are on a mission, and nothing is going to stop us until we have increased access to the culturally responsive, destigmatized, scalable, community-driven mental health intervention, the Rheumatoid process. And so we want to equip individuals, we want to empower individuals, we want to educate individuals. And these individuals include your neighbors, your family members, your friends, your classmates, your colleagues at work, your employers, employees, every citizen across the globe. We want to educate, equip you, and empower you. So join us, join GCSCORED and become relationship capacity builders. Join GCSCORED and become relationship capacity champions. Help us help others, renew minds, transform lives, and create safer communities. I know there's an African proverb that says, the ruin of a nation begins in the homes of its people. I'm going to say that again. The ruin of a nation begins in the homes of its people. And so I want to look at this from a more positive perspective, a more strength-based perspective. I'm going to flip the statement on its head and say the success of a nation begins in the homes of its people. The success of a nation begins in the homes of its people. And what that is saying is that we are able to craft what happens in our homes, which then leads to what happens in our nation. And because we're all at least engaged in at least one relationship, which is the relationship we have with ourselves, relating with ourselves and with each other, it's a common human experience. It is as common as the air we breathe. And so how I interpret this proverb is by looking at what is happening in our relationships at home with ourselves and others. It radiates implicitly and explicitly throughout the various ecosystems in which we are embedded. And some of these ecosystems are, for example, where we live, where we love, where we learn, where we earn, where we play, and where we pray. And so what is happening at the root level in our homes has the very real potential, listen to me carefully, has the very real potential to impact and even direct the mental health of the peoples of our nations, of the citizens of our nations, of our neighbors. The essential growth elements that impact our relationships must be prioritized. They must be prioritized if we are to solve the global mental health pandemic that is staring us down and that we are currently in. We're facing it right now. So what we want you to do is join us as we continue to educate, equip, and empower our families, friends, neighbors, like I said earlier, so that they can begin to recognize, understand, manage, express, and reflect on their thoughts, interactions, mindsets, and emotions as it relates to themselves, to others, to the situations and stories that they are daily and regularly engaged in and with. Join us as we educate, equip, and empower, as we increase access so that our neighbors can acquire the social emotional skills that are so foundational to each of us, each of them experiencing a sense of purpose, a sense of hope, mental wellness, social emotional wellness, and success. A successful nation is dependent on its individuals living purposeful, hope-filled, social emotional, balanced, mentally healthy, and successful lives. And so in closing, I just want to remind you of the statement that I started this little talk with. My mental health is your business, and your mental health is my business. Again, my mental health is your business, and your mental health is my business. I want to thank you for spending these few moments with me, and I want to engage you in continuing this call to action. Reach out to GCSCORED. Our information is going to be scrolling up shortly, and we want you to reach out. We know that you and GCSCORED can be on this mission to make my mental health your business and your mental health my business. Thank you and God bless.